Welcome back to Wall Again, where passion meets music. So I was watching a video the other day on the Now Spinning Magazine YouTube channel. It's run by Phil Aston and it's a great channel. I really enjoy it, and if you enjoy this channel, I think it's one you would also enjoy, so certainly go check it out. But Phil was talking about the fear of missing out for us music collectors. If we collect physical media, there's so many new releases coming out all the time, and it's hard to keep up with it. And then also it's been pushed in your face that people are buying these releases all the time. And sometimes you can feel like you're missing out if you're not getting the latest releases and buying everything that's available. So I'd just like to give my take on it because I thought it was a very important video, and I know there's a lot of people out there who watch this channel who do buy a lot of physical media and a lot of new releases, and I'd just like to give you my perspective on the whole thing. So I'll take you back to 1994 when I started collecting music. So around that time, it was the mid-90s. There was bands like Oasis, Nirvana were coming towards the end at that point. Blur were also big at the time, and it was there was a lot of music out at the time. But at that time, I was only like 11 years old, so I didn't have a whole lot of pocket money to buy new music or new releases. So the way I would only find out about new releases was through maybe Top of the Pops or a show in Ireland that was called Top 30 Hits. I didn't have money for buying magazines. We didn't have satellite or cable at home, so I didn't have like MTV2 or VH1 or any of these shows, Headbangers Ball, that they would have had in the States. I had no access to any of that. So the only way that I knew about new releases was through the compilation albums, like Now 29, Now 30, I spoke about those before on the channel, and I'd see some of the rock bands on them, or maybe through Top of the Pops or Top 30 Hits. So when I went down to the record shop with whatever little bit of pocket money that I had, I would be looking through, say for example, if it was Nirvana, I would go to N, I would look through all the Nirvana albums, and that's how I would know what was available from the band. There was no internet back in them days. We couldn't just go on to Wikipedia and search the back catalogue of a band. We couldn't go on to Spotify, obviously, or YouTube and stream it. You physically had to go and buy the music if you wanted to hear it. The only other option was to listen to the radio and try and record it off the radio when they had the chart rankings usually on a Saturday in Ireland. So it was very different times, and when I did buy an album, I only had enough for one album, enough money to buy one album every 6 months or so, well, like birthdays, Christmas, stuff like that. So when I bought an album, I lived and breathed that album for a long time. Literally playing it every day back to back. And at this time, back in the mid-90s, for me it was cassettes before I got into CDs in the late 90s. But yeah, essentially I would be listening to albums over and over and over again, and then as I got a little bit older and my friends were into music as well, we would be swapping albums, and if someone had a CD, I had the function on my player where I could record the CD onto a cassette, and that's how I had the album. And I didn't bother buying the album until I was working a few years later on and I had the money to actually go out and purchase the albums. So it was slim pickings for me early on, and we didn't really know what was new unless we were following it very closely. Things are very different now. Now we have this, saturation of information. It's like drinking from a fire hydrant at the moment. There's so much media and so many new releases coming your way that it's almost impossible not to know about new releases of bands you like. If you follow a band, the algorithm is going to pick up on it. YouTube is going to push videos into your feed. Spotify is going to push latest releases onto your feed there as well. So we're getting hit with all this new music. And sometimes people can feel that they have to buy all this new music because they might be watching channels like this. Now, I'm not saying this channel because this channel isn't really geared towards new releases all the time. I focus on more of the kind of classic releases back from years gone by. But there are channels that run through every single new release. Like Brendan Snyder has a brilliant channel, and he is right on top of it in terms of what's released, and he pretty much buys everything that he likes when it's released new. So he's a great source of information for what's coming out new. But that's not really my gig. I don't really do that. And so it's essentially we're living in an age where there's so much material coming our way, and you can feel that you have to buy that. But I'm just here to say you don't actually have to buy it. And I want to share with you my buying habits, as it were. Like if you take 2025 so far, okay, we're now in August of 2025, the beginning of August in 2025. And I have only bought 2 albums this year. Just 2, on CD. And they were both about €15 each. I bought Ghost's new album, that was released. I think it was released back in April, and I didn't even buy it when it came out. I only bought it like 7-8 weeks later. It's called Skeleton. I'm really enjoying it. I must have listened to it about 6-7 times. So yeah, really getting to grips with this. And I also bought Turnstile's new album when it came out. I think I bought it the week after it came out. And again, I've listened to this 10, 12 times. Those albums were about €15 each. And I might buy one or two before the end of the year. But that will be it. I won't go buying every single new release by every band that I like, or if they're a band in passing that I think might be a good album, I have to buy it. I'm not in that headspace. For a start, I can't afford to buy every single new release, and a lot of the time it mightn't be something I want. Like I know with Ghost now, I've been listening to Ghost for years, I've been streaming them, and I know they're a band that I like. I really like the sound, I like the production. They're taking a kind of a classic rock spin on the whole metal thing these days. They're certainly different to anything else that's out there. They're a band that really resonates with me, and as a result, I will go and I will buy Ghost material because I know I will get the use out of it. I'll actually listen to it. Same with Turnstile. I first heard of Turnstile about 2-3 years ago, and they absolutely blew me away, floored me. I hadn't heard anything like this before. Something that was like hardcore punk but mainstream, very well produced with great guitar solos and great riffs and fantastic drums. I had never heard anything like that. So it was something that blew me away, and I decided, right, I'm going to get some of Turnstile's stuff. Now, I think they have 4 albums in total. I only have 2 of them. On Ghost side of things, Ghost have 6 full-length studio albums. I only have 2 of them. So I'm working my way through to buy the full back catalogues, but I'm in no rush. Like, you know, these albums are on Spotify. I can stream them. I can get to grips with them. And then when they pop up, if the price is right, I might pick them up. I'm not going to go out and just buy them because, you know, I'm trying to get all the back catalogue, as it were. So I think it's important to know what you're buying and to have, you know, limits to your spending. Like I certainly do. I will try, if I'm buying new albums, okay, they can be between 10 and 15 euro for a CD, possibly 20 euro for a double CD. Sometimes you just have to fork that out if that's what you're into. But a lot of the time what I'm buying is secondhand stuff. And it's secondhand in places like charity shops, record stores, online. I mentioned Comet Records in Ireland. They're brilliant. They're based up in Dublin. And like he'll ship to anywhere in Ireland for like €10. You can get a stack of 7 or 8 CDs. As I said there the other week, I got 7 CDs for like €24. It was a great deal. So that's a brilliant place. And then earlier today, I was actually at a record fair in County Meath, near where I live. And I went down and I got, I think, 4 CDs. And like, you know, they were all really, really hard to get CDs that I found difficult. They were on Discogs, but they were very expensive. I got Thin Lizzy Jailbreak. I got 2 Rush albums, Fly By Night and Permanent Waves. And what was the other thing I got? It's actually just escaping me now at the moment. It'll come back to me. I got something else as well that was important. So yeah, you know, and they weren't expensive. All these CDs were around like 7, 6, €5. So really, really cheap. So, and I'm filling gaps in my collection of, you know, albums that I love and bands that I love, and I'm trying to get the back catalogue. But like, this is a project over a couple of years. I don't feel I have to go out and spend like 100 or €200 on Discogs to pick up all these albums. So it's okay to do that, you know. And Phil made a very good point. He said, like, he used to buy albums by artists that really resonated with him. But if someone had said like, oh, that new album's not so good, I bought it, Phil might say, okay, I'm not going to buy that one because I already have 6 or 7 albums by this band. And that was okay. You know, you don't need to own everything by an artist. But he made a great point, and I thought it was brilliant. He said, there's nobody going to come around. Say, for example, Thin Lizzy, okay? So I have a lot of Thin Lizzy albums. I think I have 3 more to get to complete the collection of all the studio albums by Thin Lizzy. And it's something I've always wanted to do. I've had this aspiration for years. But like Phil said, there's nobody going to come around to your house and audit your collection and say, oh, you're not a real Thin Lizzy fan because you don't have X, Y, and Z album. That doesn't happen, okay? This is pressure we put on ourselves. And like, you know, your collection is your personally curated art collection. It just happens to be music. And it says something about you, but you're on a journey with this collection. So just because you don't have everything by a certain band right now, that's not to say you won't pick it up at some point. And I find in a lot of these secondhand markets and fairs and record shops and online and stuff, you can pick them up at very good value, you know. So you end up only spending maybe, you know, €50, €60 a month on collecting CDs and albums, which I think is manageable, you know. But obviously, like in my stage in life, I don't have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of euro to be blowing on new music, vinyl CDs every month. I just don't have it, so I don't do it. So I build my collection nice and organically. When I see deals coming up, I'll buy them. If there's a band or an album like these guys that I'm really interested in, I might shell out and buy them for, you know, €15. But maybe the maximum number of new releases I would get in a year would be maybe 3, 4, 5 max, and that's probably even the higher end. You know, usually I'm only buying a couple of CDs each year of bands I like. So that's I just want to say, I wanted to come on and say that I thought it was an excellent video, and I thought I really picked up on a lot of his points, and I agree with a lot of his points. It's great to see that there's people out there that don't actually go and buy everything, even though some people might think, oh, Phil buys so much. He actually doesn't. He's actually quite strategic in what he buys, and he won't spend money on something that he doesn't think he'll get the value out of and listen to. Another very good point he made was that your collection is there. So, like, go and listen to it. You know, pick out an album, put it on, immerse yourself in the album, read the sleeve. You know, you have a collection there. Be grateful for what you have as well, you know, and it's good to be grateful and to look at what you have that other people might not have. You know, I know it would be great to have every album by every artist, but realistically, would you listen to them all? You know, would you have enough time to get through them all? And would you like them all? Or are you just buying them because you feel peer pressure from other groups or from, you know, watching YouTube channels that you think you have to buy all this music? Like, you don't. You know, it's fine. You can listen to Spotify. It's not like being on the radio where you have to wait for your song. You can actually get it up there for whatever the price is, €15 a month or whatever they charge for Spotify these days. And that's absolutely fine. And then at some stage, if you want to buy the album, by all means, go buy the album. So I just wanted to come on and say a few words on that. I thought it was an excellent video by Phil. I'm a big fan of Phil's channel. He's great. He has great insights into physical media and collecting, and he knows his stuff when it comes to classic rock, heavy metal, prog rock, all the stuff I'm into. So I really enjoy watching his videos. They're very well thought out. He never just comes on to make a video for the sake of it. There's always a message, or I always learn something from his videos. So a shout out to Phil Aston on Now Spinning Magazine. And if you like this video, stick a like on it. If you could also subscribe to the channel, I greatly appreciate it. And by all means, leave a comment below. Let me know what your buying habits are. I would love to hear from the community out there, to hear what people's listening habits and buying habits are out there. How many new albums you buy in a month or in a year? Are you a fan of collecting secondhand albums? Are you more into CD? Are you more into vinyl? Are you more into cassettes? I would love to hear from you, so please leave your comment below, and I will talk to you in the next one. Bye for now.